Imagine a motorcycle that brings the legendary Harley-Davidson DNA into a size and price range most riders never thought possible. A bike that captures the unmistakable thump, the street presence, and the cruiser charm of a Harley, but wraps it all into a compact, city-friendly, beginner-friendly package. That's exactly what Harley-Davidson has attempted with the X440, a motorcycle that is more than just a model. It's a statement, a message to the world that Harley is ready to play a whole new game in a whole new segment without losing its identity. Today on Acer Rider, we're taking a deep dive into what this machine really is, how it behaves in the real world, and whether it can carve out a serious spot in the crowded midweight market. The first thing you notice about the X440 is the attitude. And yes, it absolutely has Harley attitude. It doesn't matter that it's smaller, lighter, or more urban-focused than Harley's traditional cruisers. The moment you walk up to it, the bike gives off that thick, muscular stance that Harley fans love. The tank has that iconic teardrop shape. The round LED headlamp feels retro and modern at the same time. The wide bars and upright posture give off a confident personality, not aggressive, but assertive. It's not pretending to be a massive cruiser, but it definitely doesn't look timid either. Harley has infused this motorcycle with enough styling to make it feel like part of the family, while still making it look fresh, approachable, and tailored for new age riders. The proportions are thoughtfully done. The bike looks solid, not bulky, not lightweight, just right. The metal tank, the carefully sculpted side panels, and the exposed engine block give it a premium feel. And unlike many entry-level motorcycles, the X440 doesn't try too hard to look aggressive. Harley kept the design clean, classy, and confident. Exactly what you'd expect from a brand that built its identity on charisma and simplicity. But let's talk about the real star here, the engine. For the first time in decades, Harley-Davidson created a small displacement, single-cylinder motorcycle. And honestly, they've done a surprisingly good job. The X440 gets a 440cc air oil-cooled single that produces a strong mid-range punch and that classic Harley-ish thump. Now, to be clear, this isn't the deep, earth-shaking rumble of the big V-twins. But for a single-cylinder, Harley has tuned it beautifully. The sound is warm, low, and satisfying. When you rev it, there's a growl. When you're cruising, there's a rhythmic pulse. And when you idle at a traffic light, it feels calm but alive, not lazy or quiet like many modern singles. Performance-wise, the power delivery is exactly what city and highway riders will appreciate. The bike pulls with confidence from low RPMs, making it responsive in traffic and smooth during overtakes. The mid-range torque is solid, letting you ride without constantly shifting gears. It's not a high-revving engine, and it's not meant to be. This is a motor designed for relaxed riding, the kind where the rhythm of the road matters more than chasing top-speed numbers. The overall feel is stable, composed, and surprisingly fun when you push it a little. Fuel efficiency is an area where the X440 gives riders a pleasant surprise. Despite the Harley badge, the bike delivers respectable mileage, usually somewhere in the 28 to 32 kilometers per hour range depending on riding style. For a 440cc motorcycle with a strong torque curve, that's very impressive. It means you get that cruiser character without spending a fortune on fuel. And with a reasonably sized tank, the bike achieves a practical touring range for weekend rides and longer commutes. Now let's talk about handling, an area where people had lots of questions. A Harley that handles well? In the city, on curves? On bumpy roads? Surprisingly, yes. The X440 handles far better than many expected. That's because Harley, working with its regional engineering partners, designed the bike with a strong emphasis on balance and stability. The weight distribution is excellent, the center of gravity is low, and the chassis feels strong without feeling heavy. In the city, the bike moves with a calm confidence. It's not twitchy or hyper-responsive, it's steady, smooth, and predictable. The wide handlebars give you great leverage for slow turns and tight maneuvers. Filtering through traffic feels easier than you'd expect from a Harley-branded bike. On open roads, the motorcycle holds its line beautifully. At cruising speeds, it feels planted and mature, not shaky or nervous. Even when you hit a rough patch of road, the suspension does a good job absorbing bumps without throwing the bike off balance. Comfort is another area where the X440 shines. Harley has always been known for comfortable riding positions, and the tradition continues here. The seat is supportive and well padded, offering long ride comfort without being too soft. The riding posture is upright, relaxed, and natural. You don't lean forward aggressively. You don't feel cramped. You sit on the bike like you belong there. Riders of different heights will appreciate how neutral the ergonomics feel. Your knees aren't too bent. Your arms aren't stretched out. It strikes a perfect middle ground that works for both short rides and long, slow cruising. Features on the X440 are modern and practical. You get full LED lighting, turn-by-turn navigation support in certain trims, Bluetooth connectivity, ride information, alerts, and a clean digital console that feels neither outdated nor overly complicated. It has just enough tech to make your life convenient without distracting from the riding experience. Again, that balance between old-school charm and new-age features is what makes this model interesting. In real-world riding, the Harley-Davidson X440 feels like a motorcycle built for the everyday rider, someone who wants style without sacrificing usability. On urban roads, it's predictable and smooth. On highways, it holds a stable cruising rhythm. On winding roads, it feels comfortable and controlled. And on imperfect roads, potholes, rough patches, uneven surfaces, the bike handles itself better than many other midweight commuters and cruisers. Now, like every motorcycle, the X440 has its imperfections. Riders looking for blazing speed or sharp sport bike handling will find the performance too relaxed. People expecting the deep Harley roar from a small single might be disappointed, and those who want heavy touring features or advanced electronics might feel limited by the simplicity here. But these aren't flaws, they're the result of Harley intentionally designing a motorcycle that prioritizes accessibility, affordability, and urban practicality. Price is one of the biggest talking points. The Harley-Davidson X440 enters the market at a price far lower than any Harley we've seen before, making it the most accessible Harley in years. That dramatically expands the number of riders who can finally say they ride a Harley-Davidson. And while the price varies by region, it remains competitive with other midweight commuters and retro-style motorcycles. But unlike many of those competitors, the X440 carries premium build touches, metal components where others use plastic, and a design philosophy rooted in a legacy over a century old. So, what's the ultimate verdict? The Harley-Davidson X440 isn't trying to be a sport bike. It isn't trying to be a giant cruiser. It isn't trying to compete in performance numbers. Instead, it's trying to deliver something far more meaningful: an authentic Harley experience, simplified, modernized, and made accessible. And it succeeds. It offers charm, character, and comfort in a package that riders of all levels can enjoy. It's a motorcycle that feels dignified, confident, and surprisingly refined. Harley fans will appreciate the design, new riders will appreciate the friendliness, and everyday commuters will appreciate the comfort and practicality. My personal take: the Harley-Davidson X440 is one of the most refreshing and significant additions to the midweight market in years. It's a bold move, but one that makes perfect sense. Harley finally built a motorcycle for riders who want the Harley vibe without the Harley price or size. And that alone makes this bike worth serious consideration. If you enjoyed this deep dive review, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Acer Rider for more honest, detailed motorcycle reviews. Ride safe, ride smart, and I'll see you in the next one.